Have you ever felt like you're carrying a power that no one can see? A force within that seems to remain hidden in plain sight, one that others dismiss or underestimate. You walk through life, often unnoticed or misjudged, and it seems like no one truly understands the depth of who you are. But here's the truth. You've been operating under a guise, a mask so carefully constructed that it even fools you sometimes. The world doesn't see you, not really. But that's exactly the way it's meant to be. There's a reason you've kept that strength hidden. I remember moments in my life when I felt like I didn't quite fit the mold that others expected of me. I was gentle, quiet, and patient, traits that others found easily dismissible. I could see the way people would talk over me in meetings, the way they thought they could walk all over my calm demeanor. I was too nice, and in their eyes, that made me weak. But what they didn't know was that my gentleness was never a sign of weakness. It was a strategic choice, an invisible armor. It was my way of watching, learning, and preparing for the right moment. And here's the kicker, that moment is now. The chosen ones are waking up. You're no longer invisible. It's time to step into the light, to take off the mask, and reveal the power that's been quietly simmering beneath your surface. You've always been more than what they thought, and now the world is about to see exactly who you are. It's no coincidence that you've been underappreciated for so long. No, my friend, it's all part of the cosmic plan. The hidden mask, underestimating the chosen one. You know what it's like to walk through life with a mask. It's not a physical one. It's a mask you wear with every smile, every gesture, every word you say. You've learned to downplay your strength, to speak softly, to move with grace, to appear accommodating. But beneath that mask, there's a fire waiting to be unleashed. The world, for the most part, sees you as someone they can control, someone they can manipulate. They mistake your patience for weakness, your composure for softness, your kindness for an invitation to take advantage. I remember the first time I truly realized I was wearing this mask. I had been in a meeting, sitting quietly while others spoke over me, dismissing my ideas as insignificant. They smiled and patted me on the back, telling me, "Don't worry, you'll get it next time." But inside, something was stirring. I could feel the fire of frustration building, but I stayed silent. I let them have their moment, all the while observing, taking mental notes, and gathering my strength. What they didn't know was that my silence wasn't a sign of submission. It was the calm before the storm. I knew that the moment I spoke, they wouldn't be able to ignore me. I knew that my power wasn't in being loud. It was in the quiet strength that they overlooked. The mask, for me, had been a tool. It allowed me to observe, to study the cracks in their armor, and to prepare for when I would finally reveal the full force of who I am. I'm sure you've felt this too. You've been the one overlooked, the one whose words have been brushed aside. But remember, this is not a curse. It's your strategy. The world is full of people who want to label you based on your gentleness. They don't understand the warrior beneath the surface. But one day, they will. The cosmic strategy: patience, observation, and preparation. Patience. It's a word that many see as passive, but for the chosen ones, it's an active force. Patience isn't waiting for something to happen. It's the strategic art of biding your time, of watching, listening, and preparing for the moment when everything will align. And I promise you, that moment is coming. The universe is always working behind the scenes, aligning the stars, shifting energies, setting the stage for your grand unveiling. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I found myself in a situation where everything seemed to be against me. I was working in an environment where my ideas were constantly shot down. People didn't take me seriously because I wasn't loud enough, bold enough, or aggressive enough for their liking. But I saw something that they didn't. I saw the weaknesses in their approach, the cracks in the systems they'd built. While they were busy ignoring me, I was gathering intelligence. I was paying attention to the way they moved, the patterns in their behavior, and the way they operated. One day I realized something powerful. My patience had been my greatest weapon. I wasn't just sitting there passively waiting for change. No, I was preparing for my moment of power, and when that moment came, it wasn't about confrontation. It was about stepping into a power they never saw coming. I had gathered the information I needed. I knew how they would react. I knew exactly how to dismantle their illusions without lifting a finger in anger. My power lay in knowing when and how to act. You too have been observing, you've been patient, and the universe has been working on your behalf, moving things into position. The people who thought they could walk all over you have no idea what's coming. The real power has always been in your ability to wait, to prepare, to align yourself with the universe's timing. And when you act, it will be like nothing they've ever seen. The moment of awakening, the power unleashed. And now it's time. The waiting, the preparation, the silence, it all leads to this moment. The mask you've worn for so long is falling away, and the power that's been simmering beneath your surface is finally breaking free. For years, you've carried a quiet force, one that others couldn't see. But now, the time has come for you to reveal yourself, not as they thought you were, but as you truly are. And believe me when I say, they will be shocked. I'll never forget the first time I let the mask drop. It wasn't planned. I wasn't trying to make a statement, but something inside me finally snapped. I was in a meeting and someone dismissed my idea again, but this time I didn't sit back. I stood up, looked them in the eye, and spoke with a confidence I hadn't known I had. The room went silent. There was a shift in the air. My words carried weight, and for the first time, they saw the true power behind my quiet demeanor. You've probably felt that same shift. The moment when you realize your power is no longer something to hide, something to suppress. It's time to let it out. When you do, you won't just command attention, you'll command respect. The people who once dismissed you will stand in awe, unsure of how to handle the force of nature they've been underestimating for so long. But this isn't just about showing others who you are. It's about showing yourself who you are. For the first time, you'll realize that you are not the person you've been pretending to be. You're a warrior, a force, a being of divine purpose. You've always known this deep inside, but now the world will know it too. This moment of awakening isn't just for you, it's for the world around you. It's time to step into your full power. The world is waiting. The universe is waiting. And now, you are ready. The divine timing. Everything happens for a reason. Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life, perhaps a struggle or a challenge, and thought, that was meant to happen? It's like everything, the good, the bad, the in-between, was unfolding with a purpose that only now, in hindsight, you can understand. It's something that feels beyond coincidence, almost like fate itself is orchestrating your every move. That's divine timing at work, and if you're a chosen one, it's been working in the background, preparing you for this moment, even when you didn't see it. I can recall a time when everything seemed to fall apart. I was in a career that drained me. I had relationships that felt hollow, and despite working hard, it felt like nothing was aligning. I questioned everything, my choices, my path, my purpose. But during that phase of confusion and discomfort, I started noticing small, almost invisible threads tying things together. People who showed up unexpectedly, books I picked up randomly, places I visited by chance. All these seemingly unrelated things began to make sense. Then one day, I realized something that shifted my entire perspective. There was a reason for every challenge I had faced. Every setback, every difficult decision, every moment of doubt. It was all part of a greater plan. The universe was guiding me, slowly and surely, even when I couldn't see the bigger picture. What appeared as obstacles were actually opportunities in disguise. Lessons in patience, resilience, and self-discovery. The challenges didn't break me, they built me. They prepared me for something bigger, something greater than I had imagined. And I know you felt this too. There have been times when things didn't make sense, when the universe seemed to test you in ways that felt cruel. But now, as you reflect on it, you can see the pattern emerging. The hardships were necessary. They were the fire that forged your strength. The timing wasn't wrong. It was perfectly aligned with your growth. You've been walking this path for a reason, and even though it didn't always feel easy, it was always part of your journey toward awakening. Now, as you step into your power, you'll see just how perfect the timing really was. Every part of your life, even the most difficult moments, has led you to this point, and now you are ready. The recognition of the true allies. When you step into your full power, you begin to notice something truly extraordinary. The people who have always been in your life, those who supported you, believed in you, or simply understood you on a deeper level, they begin to shine in new light. These are the true allies, the ones who have always recognized something in you that others couldn't see. They didn't need the grand unveiling. They saw the warrior in you long before you even acknowledged it yourself. I remember when my true allies began to reveal themselves. I had spent years wondering why I felt different from everyone else, why I didn't quite fit in, why some people couldn't understand me. But as I grew stronger, as I began to shed the masks, something shifted. The people who had always been there, in the background, silently cheering me on, began to emerge from the shadows. I could feel their energy, their belief in me, even before they spoke it. These were the people who had never judged me for my quietness, for my introspection, for the times I chose to remain silent. They saw me, truly saw me, not for who they wanted me to be, but for who I was deep down. They were the ones who listened when I spoke softly, who offered support when I doubted myself, and who never tried to change me. They were my mirror, reflecting back my truth, even when I didn't have the confidence to fully embrace it. These true allies weren't just people who had been with me through good times. They were the ones who accepted me during my struggles and believed in my potential, even when I couldn't see it myself. It's like they knew from the beginning who I was meant to become. I believe you've had this experience too. Think about the people in your life who have always stood by you, the ones who never tried to fit you into a box. These people didn't need you to be perfect or successful for them to believe in you. They saw something in you that others missed. And as you step into your full power, those connections will deepen. The true allies will become more obvious, and you'll feel their presence and support more than ever. These are the people who will walk with you as you transform, the ones who won't be intimidated by your strength, but will help amplify it. Breaking free, shedding the old identity. For years, I wore an identity that wasn't truly mine. It was the version of myself that others expected, that society had taught me to wear. I was the quiet one, the nice one, the accommodating one. I followed the rules, kept the peace, and tried to fit into a world that didn't understand the depths of who I was. But deep inside, I knew I was meant for more. I knew that I wasn't the person everyone thought I was. And at some point, I realized I couldn't keep living someone else's story. The moment I decided to shed that old identity was the moment I truly started to live. It wasn't easy. Letting go of the familiar, even when it no longer served me, was terrifying. I had spent so much time trying to please others, trying to meet their expectations, that I didn't know who I was outside of their approval. But once I let go of that need, something extraordinary happened. I began to feel lighter, freer, and more myself than I had ever felt. Shedding that old identity wasn't just about changing my behavior or trying something new. It was about releasing the fear of what others would think. It was about embracing the person I had always been deep down and no longer hiding that truth behind a mask of politeness or conformity. It was the liberation I had been searching for without even realizing it. I know you felt that pull to be something more. There's always been a part of you that knew you didn't fit into the boxes society tried to place you in. You've tried to follow the rules, to meet others' expectations, but it never quite felt right, did it? Well, now is your time to break free. Let go of the old identity that's been holding you back and step into the person you've always been meant to be. It's time to stop pretending and start living authentically. It's time to become the true version of yourself, and the world will finally see the brilliance you've been hiding, the unveiling, stepping into full power. And now the moment you've been waiting for has arrived. You've shed the old identity. You've embraced your true strength, your true purpose. The mask has fallen away, and what you find underneath is not a fragile, soft person, but a powerful, radiant being who has always been meant to shine. It's time for the world to see you, not as they've imagined you, not as they've dismissed you, but as you truly are. The full power within you is now unleashed, and there's nothing that can hold you back. I can still remember the day I fully stepped into my power. It wasn't a loud, dramatic moment. It wasn't a sudden burst of energy. It was more subtle, but it was undeniable. I woke up that day feeling different, like something inside me had clicked into place. I stopped worrying about what others would think. I stopped doubting myself. I realized that I had the power to create my own reality, to shape my life in a way that aligned with my true purpose. As I moved through that day, I felt a shift. The way people responded to me changed. It wasn't that I was being arrogant or boastful, but I was simply no longer hiding. I was no longer apologizing for who I was or dimming my light to make others feel comfortable. I was finally stepping into the full power that had always been within me. And now it's your turn. You've done the work. You've waited, you've prepared, you've grown. Now it's time for you to step into the light to show the world the force that you are. The energy you carry is magnetic, and when you fully embrace it, there's no limit to what you can achieve. The people around you will be forced to take notice. They'll see you for who you truly are, and they'll recognize the incredible power that was always there, waiting to be unleashed. It's time to stop holding back. It's time to stop playing small. You've been chosen for this moment, and now you must rise to it. Step into your full power and let the world see you for who you truly are. You are not soft. You are not sweet. You are a force of nature, and it's time for the universe to witness your brilliance. Cosmic recalibration, shifting realities. Have you ever had a moment where everything in your life seemed to flip on its head? The people around you, the opportunities before you, and even the very way you viewed yourself. Suddenly, it's as if the universe hit a reset button and nothing is the same anymore. The relationships you once relied on may start to feel different. The paths you thought were set in stone now appear uncertain. The energy around you is shifting, and you can feel it, the recalibration of your very reality. I remember a period when everything I had worked for started to fall apart. The job I thought was secure, the friendships I believed would last, even my own sense of purpose, nothing seemed to align anymore. At first, I was terrified. What was happening? It felt like the world was crumbling beneath me, and I couldn't hold on. But then, after the dust settled, I realized something extraordinary. This wasn't a breakdown, it was a breakthrough. It was the universe recalibrating, shifting things into place for the next phase of my life. When I think back to that time, I see it now as the beginning of something new. The relationships that fell away, they no longer served the higher version of me I was becoming. The doors that closed, they were simply redirecting me to new opportunities that aligned better with my true purpose. The life I had known was being dismantled, but only so something greater could be built in its place. Perhaps you've experienced something similar. Have you ever felt as if the world around you started shifting, but in a way you didn't fully understand? It can be disorienting at first. The old structures that once felt safe now seem too small for you. But this shift, this cosmic recalibration, is necessary for your growth. The relationships that fall away aren't losses, they are releases. The opportunities that seem to vanish are simply paving the way for something better to come. The universe is aligning itself with your true purpose, and sometimes that requires breaking down old realities to build new ones. And it's not just about external changes. The recalibration happens within you too. You start to see the world differently, to perceive your own power differently. What once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. Your energy is stronger, more focused, and clearer. The recalibration isn't just a shift in your reality, it's a shift in your very essence. You are being transformed, and the universe is reshaping everything around you to match the new, empowered version of yourself. The responsibilities of power, leading with integrity. With great power comes great responsibility. It's a statement we've all heard, but when you finally step into your power, you begin to understand it on a level deeper than you ever thought possible. It's not just about having influence or authority. It's about leading with integrity, with purpose, and with a commitment to something greater than yourself. When I first began to realize the scope of my own power, it was exhilarating. It was like waking up to a world where anything was possible. I could see the future unfolding before me, and for the first time, I felt like I had control. But it didn't take long for me to realize that true power isn't about control, it's about responsibility. As I started to shape my reality, I noticed how easily power could be misused. It was tempting to focus on what I could get, what I could take. But something deep inside me told me that this wasn't the path I was meant to walk. I started reflecting on the leaders I admired, the ones who had true influence, not because they demanded it, but because they led with integrity. They used their power to lift others, to create positive change, and to serve a purpose greater than their own desires. And I realized that if I were to truly step into my power, I had to lead in the same way. I had to serve a greater mission than simply satisfying my own needs. This is where the chosen ones face a unique challenge. As you embrace your power, as you step fully into the version of yourself that the world once underestimated, you will be faced with choices. The world will try to pull you in many directions, toward fame, wealth, status, and ego. But true power isn't in how much you can accumulate for yourself. It's in how you use your gifts to help others, to create a ripple effect of positive change, and to lead with a heart full of integrity. You've been given this power for a reason. It's not to make your life easier, but to elevate the world around you. It's a responsibility that requires humility, compassion, and a deep understanding of the impact you have on others. So as you step into this new phase, ask yourself, how will you use your power? Will you lead with integrity, or will you be tempted to misuse it? The true test of your strength will not be in how loud you speak, but in how deeply you serve. The journey continues, embracing the next phase. It's easy to think that once you've stepped into your power, once you've broken free from old identities and revealed your true self, that the journey is over. But the truth is, your journey has only just begun. The emergence of your true self is not the destination. It's the first step toward your next evolution. I remember thinking that once I had finally figured things out, once I had aligned myself with my true purpose and unlocked my power, I would be done. But I quickly learned that the real work begins once you've shed the old layers and stepped into your authentic self. The universe doesn't just call you to awaken for the sake of awakening. It calls you to do something with that awakening, to make an impact, to continue evolving. This is the next phase of your journey, embracing the unknown, stepping into uncharted territory, and trusting that the path will unfold as you walk it. There will be challenges, there will be obstacles, and yes, there will be moments of doubt. But now, you are better equipped to handle them. You are no longer the person who is unsure of their worth. You are no longer the one hiding behind a mask. You are the one who has seen the depths of your potential and is now ready to soar to greater heights. As the journey continues, you will discover new parts of yourself, parts that were always there but had yet to emerge. Your mission, your purpose will evolve as you evolve. The lessons you've learned will guide you through new challenges, and with every step, you will become more powerful, more focused, and more aligned with your true purpose. So embrace this next phase with open arms. Don't resist the unknown. Don't fear the challenges ahead. You are ready for this. The universe has prepared you for what's next, and now it's time for you to take the next leap in your journey. Conclusion: the rebirth of the chosen ones. And so here you are, the chosen one, the person who has walked through fire, who has shed the old skin, who has embraced their true power. You are no longer the person you once were. The journey that began with doubt, with confusion, with a feeling of being misunderstood, has transformed you into someone capable of great things. You've been reborn, not into a life of ease, but into a life of purpose, strength, and responsibility. But this isn't the end of your story. No, my friend, this is only the beginning. You are stepping into a world that needs you now more than ever. The world is waiting for your light, your wisdom, your leadership. You have been called to awaken, and now that you have, it's time for you to rise, to lead, to make a difference. The rebirth of the chosen ones is not just about personal transformation. It's about collective transformation. As you step into your full power, you will begin to see the world around you change. The people who once doubted you will now stand in awe. The opportunities that once felt out of reach will now be yours for the taking. The life you've always dreamed of is now possible because you have stepped into your truth. But remember this, the journey doesn't end here. You will continue to evolve, to learn, to grow. Your power will continue to expand, and with it, your impact. You are the light that will guide others, the force that will create change, the energy that will shift the world. So stand tall, chosen one. The time has come. Your rebirth is here. The universe is watching, waiting for you to shine. And this time you won't dim your light for anyone. Step into your greatness and let the world see who you truly are.